Mayor Eric Adams has just been indicted. Now, for those of you outside the United States, a couple of things in case you don't know it, although you probably do know it anyway. First of all, New York City, obviously one of the biggest cities in the world. So therefore, the mayor of New York is actually a larger player in the U.S. politics and the U.S. government than most governors, even though governors are technically a higher position. Like you look at the governor of, Wisconsin or something, and not nearly as talked about as much or as pivotal or important as the mayor of New York. Important position, tons of resources, billions of dollars, tons of people, all that stuff. He was a new mayor. He'd never been in the position before, and he's a former police chief. He is a black man, which I'm not just adding that for no reason. It'll come into play in a few minutes. Now, in my opinion, Eric Adams is a piece of human garbage, right? He terrible policies, terrible for everyone except for the NYPD. Never done anything positive for the people. He's just a goon and a cop. And of course, he's throwing more money at the police and hiring more police than ever before. And just one of the largest, militaries, if you count NYPD, one of the largest militaries in the world. And he's just making them bigger and stronger and more fascist. That's just one of the many things that he sucks about. That's not what they're indicting him for, because that's all good. That's all fine. That's fine with our FBI and our intelligence services and our attorney general. This is from the New York Times. Federal agents searched the mayor's residence again. The mayor has been charged in bribery and fraud. Damian Williams, the U.S. attorney in Manhattan, said Eric Adams took over $100,000 in graft and used his powers to help the country of Turkey. The mayor insisted he was innocent. They have obvious quotes. I mean, it seems pretty obvious he is not innocent. So here's one of the quotes of his staffer, him talking to an airline manager about a trip to Turkey. And he says, the airline manager says, I'm going to charge $50. And the staffer says, no, don't do that. The person basically says, we need to pretend this looks like he bought a real ticket because he's getting a free trip. There's other examples of someone on the phone saying that the hotel in Turkey looked too expensive. And then they go, oh, don't worry, he won't be paying for it. Now, but you may notice that this has to do with the Foreign Agent Registry Act. He's charged violating the Foreign Agent Registry Act. And as you also know, I've been highly critical of the Foreign Agent Registry Act and how it's been used to go after activists and go after media people. But if we are going to have a Foreign Agent Registry Act, this is the actual real thing it should be used to go after. Actual bribes coming from another country. Bribes to do things. Not paying a media personality to report things. FARA was never intended to go after media organizations. And if you're going to use it to go after media organizations, you have to go after all of them. BBC, CBC, ABC, all the ones that are not American. But of course, they don't do that. And of course, Israel. But this is the type of thing that he's indicted for. Seems very much like what you would use FARA for, to actually stop bribes coming from a foreign country. He decided to have a press conference claiming his innocence. And I will say this, that there does seem to be a specific color of person, a specific skin color that seems to be almost everybody involved in this scandal. There's a reasonable question as to whether this is why he's just about the only official outside of the Trump administration that they've gone after for FARA violations. And, there's some questions to be had there. Is this a biased investigation? Not whether he committed it. It seems almost definite he committed it, judging by these quotes that they've released, or his staff did at least. But whether they're going after particularly him and not others, because he's not as powerful, maybe, as white politicians might be. So he had a press conference where he tried to make it almost exclusively a race issue. And here are some protesters that showed up, and God, these protesters are great. Love them. I love just interrupt these clowns. Interrupt these absolutely corrupt clowns. Mayor McAdams is standing there with a big smile on his face, and you can hear at the podium, and you can hear the protesters in the background.
This is not a black day. This is not a black day. This is a youth day. This is a youth day, Eric Adams. This is not a black day. Your policies are anti-black. You are a disgrace to all black people in this city. The things that you have done are unconscionable. You hurt our schools. Our streets are dirty. Our children are harassed by the police. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. You can shush me all you want, but the people are with us. And this is not a black day. This is a justice day.
First of all, I want to thank you for being here.
And he just has to sit there smiling. I think you guys could hear it, but the protesters were saying this is not a black thing. This is a you thing. Your policies are anti-black because they are. He has not been good to black people in New York. And, you know, it is tough not to be fine with the downfall of a former police chief, corrupt official, as we're seeing right here.